Imagine you have a secret formula that you can use to achieve success in any area of your life, be it money, relationships, career, or personal growth. Now, imagine this formula is not used by an ordinary person, but by the world's most successful people like Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, and Andrew Carnegie. Yes, this is the very formula that Napoleon Hill wrote about in his book, The Law of Success. And today, we've brought you the complete summary of this very book. So, stick with us until the end because every chapter holds a key to success that will change the way you think. Chapter 1. The Mastermind. Napoleon Hill says that no human being, no matter how intelligent or talented, can use their full potential alone. The solitary mind is always limited. However, as soon as two or more people come together for a common goal and share their energy and ideas with each other, a new power is born. This power is the mastermind. The mastermind is not just a group of friends. It is an alliance where every individual brings their best skills and knowledge, and they all work together to achieve that goal. When people think together, their collective intelligence reaches a level that is simply impossible to achieve alone. Hill compared this to electricity. Just as the power of a single battery is limited, when many batteries are connected, a large current is created that can run very big machines. Similarly, when minds unite, a current of ideas and creativity flows that can achieve the biggest of goals. Let's understand this practically. Suppose you want to start a business. You have brilliant ideas but no capital. Now, you connect with a partner who has investment. But money and ideas alone aren't enough. You need marketing skills to sell the product in the market. So, you add a third partner who has the talent for marketing. Now, the three of you together become a powerhouse where ideas, money, and marketing all combine to grow the business. This is the true power of the mastermind. Historically, this principle has been proven repeatedly. The secret behind Henry Ford transforming the automobile industry was the mastermind. Ford was not a genius alone. He was surrounded by inventors like Thomas Edison and industrialists like Harvey Firestone. Working with them, he created new strategies. Their collective intelligence accomplished what Ford could never have done alone. The mastermind is not limited to business or career. It is just as powerful in personal life. Imagine having friends or family members who consistently give you positive support, provide constructive feedback on your ideas, and think collaboratively with you. How quickly would your growth accelerate? This is why Hill says that your environment and your circle are the biggest factors in your success. But there is one important thing to understand here. The mastermind will not work unless the common purpose of every group member is clear. If three people pull in three different directions, the energy will scatter. Imagine three people in a boat, and everyone is paddling from their side, but the direction is different. Will the boat move forward? Absolutely not. The same is true for the mastermind. If the group does not have a definite aim, all the energy will be wasted. Therefore, Napoleon Hill repeatedly emphasizes that the mastermind is only powerful when everyone is aligned in one direction, and this alignment is only possible when you yourself have a clear and definite aim. The question now is, if you want the power of the mastermind to succeed, you must first have your personal aim. But what should that aim be? And what is the right way to define it? This is the next chapter. Chapter 2. A definite chief aim. Napoleon Hill states that success is never accidental. It is always the result of a clear and big goal, which he calls a definite chief aim. If a person has no direction, they will drift through life without a destination. Imagine getting into a taxi without an address and telling the driver, just drive. Will you reach where you need to go? Absolutely not. The driver will be confused, and so will you. The same happens in life. Those who have no clear aim wander in the traffic of life, but they never reach where they should go. Napoleon Hill believes that every person should choose a chief aim for their life. This aim sets the direction for your entire life. The chief aim is not just a wish but a powerful goal that you want to achieve at all costs. Now, how do you define the chief aim? Hill gives a simple technique for this. Step 1. Write down your aim. Your goal should be on paper, not just in your mind. When you write it down, it is strongly fed into your subconscious mind. Step 2. Read that aim every day. Read it aloud in the morning and at night. This daily reminder focuses your mind in that direction. Your mind automatically starts attracting opportunities and ideas. Step 3. Create a plan with that aim. Writing and reading are not enough. Create a step-by-step action plan for it. Suppose a student dreams of becoming an IAS officer. They write their aim, I will become an IAS officer by 2028. Now, every day, they read this aim. Slowly, their habits start changing according to that aim. They focus on studies, leaving distractions behind. Their daily routine, friends, and even their books start aligning in that direction. Eventually, they reach their definite aim. Napoleon Hill explains that people who lack a definite aim drift in life. They come under the control of others' thoughts and circumstances. But those who have a sharp aim inspire others and create their own destiny. Hill shares another important point: your chief aim should not be selfish. It should be an aim that also benefits society or others. Only then will its impact be even more powerful. Look at history. Every successful person had a clear aim. Mahatma Gandhi's aim was to free India. Thomas Edison's aim was to bring light to every home. These aims determined the direction of their lives and their decisions. One more thing, the bigger and more inspiring your aim is, the stronger your energy and determination will be. Small aims give small motivation, but a big aim changes your entire personality. However, Napoleon Hill also says that simply having an aim is not enough. To turn the aim into reality, self-confidence is most essential. If you don't believe in yourself, your aim will remain a dream written on paper. Chapter 3. Self-confidence. Napoleon Hill says that a person's greatest weakness is their fear. This fear keeps them away from opportunities. Because of fear, people don't take risks, don't use their skills, and often live an average life. There is only one way to defeat this fear: self-confidence. Self-confidence is a person's greatest weapon. It gives you the courage to never give up, even in difficult situations. It brightens your personality, gives strength to your voice, and makes your decisions clearer. Hill asks a simple question: if you don't believe in yourself, how will the world believe in you? This is true. Confidence is a quality that inspires the people around you. When you believe in yourself, people automatically start trusting you. But how do you develop self-confidence? Napoleon Hill suggests a powerful method called the auto-suggestion technique. This means giving yourself positive affirmations every day, such as, I can do it. I believe in myself. I have the full power to achieve success. These simple sentences repeatedly send signals to your subconscious mind. Slowly, your mind starts believing them to be true. And when your subconscious mind believes, your thoughts, habits, and actions also change in that direction. Let's understand this with a real-life example. There was a boy who would get scared before every exam. The thought kept running in his mind: I will fail, I can't do it. And what he thought happened. But when he adopted the auto-suggestion technique, he started saying to himself every day, I am capable. I will complete my preparation. I will clear the exam. At first, it felt strange, but gradually, the fear in his mind lessened. His confidence grew, and he started getting good marks in the exam. Confidence is not just limited to exams or career. It is equally essential in your personal life, relationships, and social circle. Imagine two people going for an interview. One has a lot of knowledge but no confidence. The other has average knowledge but is confident. Who has a higher chance of being selected? The answer is obvious: the confident person. Because confidence gives power to your words and body language. Napoleon Hill says that self-confidence is developed through practice. No one is born confident. Everyone builds it through experience, small achievements, and daily practice. Therefore, give yourself positive suggestions every day. Achieve small goals and gradually prepare for bigger ones. But be careful, there is a difference between confidence and overconfidence. Self-confidence keeps you grounded, while overconfidence forces you to make wrong decisions. Therefore, maintaining balance is necessary. Now you have confidence, but Napoleon Hill says that success is not achieved by confidence alone. Another big secret of success is the habit of managing and saving money. After all, what is the connection between self-confidence and wealth building? We will find this out in the next chapter. Chapter 4. The Habit of Saving. Napoleon Hill says that a large part of success depends on how you manage your money. Most people focus on earning money but don't know how to manage it. They spend their entire income every month and then complain that opportunities don't come their way. But the truth is that opportunities only come to those who have both money and discipline. This is why Hill considers the habit of saving a crucial law of success. A mistake people often make here is thinking that saving means keeping money in the bank for future needs. But Hill says that saving not only collects money but also builds financial discipline within you, and this discipline eventually creates wealth. Imagine if someone regularly saves even 10% of their income. Gradually, they build a habit that gives them financial security and confidence. This confidence helps them take new risks and grab new opportunities. Suppose a person saves only 1000 rupees every month. In the first year, they might feel it's too little. But if they do this consistently for 10 years and invest that money in the right place, due to compound interest, the same amount can turn into millions. This is the true power of saving. Hill explains that the habit of saving is not just a way to accumulate money, it also trains your subconscious mind. When you save, your mind starts shifting from scarcity to abundance. You feel that you have control, and this control gives you discipline in every area of life. Another important point, many people think, I'll start saving when I earn more. But the truth is, if you can't save on a small income, you won't be able to on a large income either. Saving is a habit, and this habit is formed by the mindset, not the income level. In both history and practical life, you will see that most successful people are disciplined savers. Whether they are businessmen or salaried persons, the root of their growth is financial discipline. Hill also says that saving money gives you a kind of mental freedom. When you have financial backup, you don't make decisions under pressure from others. You can pursue your dreams and goals independently. But remember, saving is not just about accumulating money. If you just keep money in the bank and don't circulate it, the benefit will be less. The right approach is to understand investment alongside saving, so that your money starts working for you. So far, we have understood how important it is to save money and develop discipline. But Napoleon Hill says that money and discipline are useless unless you have leadership qualities. Because without leadership, no organization, team, or goal can move forward. Chapter 5. Initiative and Leadership. In this chapter, Napoleon Hill says that initiative and leadership are the root of any success. Initiative means taking action yourself, without being told or without any external push. And leadership means guiding that action in such a way that people are inspired and naturally connect with your vision. Many people think of good ideas in their lives but don't execute them. They keep waiting for someone to give them permission, show them direction, or for the perfect time to arrive. But the truth is, the perfect time never comes. Hill says that the person who takes the initiative is the one who truly moves forward. Initiative means creating opportunity yourself. For example, if a student only covers the exam syllabus, they will remain average. But if that same student studies extra, explores new sources, asks questions, meaning, takes the initiative, they can become a topper. Napoleon Hill clearly states that leadership is not domination. That is, a leader is not someone who rules over others or just gives orders. A true leader is someone who inspires, motivates, and helps others to grow. A leader always recognizes the strengths of their team, helps bring out the best qualities in them, and leads by setting an example. Mahatma Gandhi is the biggest example of this. When the country was enslaved, millions of people wanted freedom but were afraid to take the initiative. Gandhi showed that courage, without large resources, without an army or weapons. He started a movement purely based on the principles of truth and non-violence. This was the initiative, and his leadership became powerful because people were inspired by his thought and action and joined him. This is true leadership, bringing people out of fear and motivating them for a higher purpose. Hill says that initiative and leadership are not separate but two sides of the same coin. Initiative moves you into action, and leadership gives direction to that action. If you only have initiative but no leadership skills, your work will remain solitary. And if you have leadership skills but no initiative, your thoughts will remain limited to words. Suppose a project is delayed in an office. All employees think they will work when the manager tells them to. But one junior employee takes the initiative himself. He finds the missing points of the project and suggests solutions. This is his initiative. If that same employee inspires the rest of the team and gets the work done by taking them along, he has also shown leadership. This quality will bring him promotions and respect in the future. This power of initiative and leadership sets you apart from the crowd. But leadership becomes even more powerful when imagination joins it. Because imagination gives leadership a new vision and direction. Chapter 6. Imagination. In this chapter, Napoleon Hill explains that imagination is the true birthplace of success. Every great invention, every big business, and every major achievement was first born as a thought in someone's mind. Later, that thought was transformed into reality through action, hard work, and persistence. Hill says, imagination is the workshop of the mind. That is, it is the laboratory of the mind where we sow the seeds of our future. Without imagination, no great achievement is possible. Imagine if Edison had not imagined the light bulb, the whole world would be in darkness today. If the Wright brothers had not imagined flying, the airplane would not exist. This imagination is what sets humans apart from the crowd and makes them a creator. Napoleon Hill divides imagination into two parts. Synthetic imagination. In this, we create something new by combining existing ideas. For example, the mobile phone was created by mixing existing telephone technology and computers. Creative imagination. This is connected to the subconscious mind and infinite intelligence. The most original and biggest ideas come from here, such as Newton discovering gravity or Einstein presenting the theory of relativity. Suppose there is a small tea seller. If he only keeps selling tea, his growth will be limited. But if he imagines that the same tea can be supplied to corporate offices in different packaging or orders can be taken through a mobile app, he can expand his business. This is exactly what many startups have done and have built multi-million-dollar businesses today. Hill says that the simplest way to strengthen imagination is visualization. That is, visualizing your goals in front of your eyes every day. If a student wants to become an IAS officer, they should daily imagine themselves in that position, how they are sitting in the office, how they are helping people. Doing this makes the subconscious mind automatically start working toward that goal. Visualization is not just dreaming. It is giving a direction to your mind. This makes your habits, decisions, and efforts move toward that same goal. Imagination alone will achieve nothing. If Edison had only thought that a bulb could be made and had not tried, there would be no light in the world today. Therefore, it is always necessary to combine imagination with action. Hill says, ideas are the beginning points of all fortunes, but ideas only create value when they are applied practically. Imagination shapes your dreams, but to turn dreams into reality, ideas alone are not enough. Energy, passion, and enthusiasm must be added to them. Chapter 7. Enthusiasm. Napoleon Hill says that enthusiasm, junoon, and energy are the real battery of success. If imagination is the engine of the mind, then enthusiasm is its fuel. It is the power that does not leave ideas only on paper but turns them into action. Imagine if you do a job without interest and in a dull manner, you will neither enjoy it nor will people be inspired by you. But when you do a job with full energy and excitement, the person in front also feels that vibe. This is enthusiasm. Hill writes, enthusiasm is the steam that drives the engine of success. That is, just as a train cannot run without steam, a person cannot move forward without enthusiasm. Suppose there are two teachers. The first teacher is just reading the book and teaching in a monotone. The result is that students get bored and lose interest in the class. The second teacher teaches the same subject with enthusiasm and energy, using examples and gestures. The result is that students listen attentively and understand the concepts quickly. The difference is only enthusiasm. Similarly, look at the business world. If a salesman explains a product in a dull and uninterested way, the customer will not be interested either. But if the same salesman speaks with energy and confidence, the customer will be naturally attracted. Hill says that enthusiasm should not be fake. It should come from within. When your work is connected to your definite chief aim, clear goal, enthusiasm will automatically be born. Some practical steps to generate enthusiasm. Focus on positive goals. When you work for a meaningful purpose, passion comes naturally. Stay with positive people. Energy is contagious. If you stay with enthusiastic people, you will also feel motivated. Keep energy in body language and voice. Enthusiasm is not just felt inside, it is also expressed outwardly. Celebrate achievements. Celebrating small results keeps the energy high. Suppose there is a small YouTuber who makes every video with energy and passion. In the beginning, his views are low. But slowly, people are attracted by his energy and start joining. The result is that his channel grows. On the other hand, if he were to make videos in a dull manner, the audience would skip in the first few seconds. The biggest benefit of enthusiasm is that it directly affects others. If a leader is passionate, their team will automatically remain motivated. This is why great leaders like Swami Vivekananda or Steve Jobs were able to inspire millions of people, because their voice, their words, and their body language had natural enthusiasm. Hill warns that enthusiasm should not be uncontrolled. If this energy is directionless, it gets wasted. Therefore, it is essential to always combine enthusiasm with discipline and self-control. Enthusiasm is as necessary as it is necessary to control it, and this quality makes you a master. Chapter 8. Self-Control. Napoleon Hill says, "If you do not control yourself, the world will control you." This line is the complete definition of self-control in itself. Success goes to those who become masters of their emotions, desires, and habits. Most people fail because they lose to themselves, not to others. Anger, greed, fear, laziness, all of these destroy our energy and focus. Self-control is the filter that teaches us to balance between right and wrong. Imagine if a person reacts angrily every time, both their career and relationships will be ruined. But if that same person controls themselves and thinks calmly, a better solution to the problems can emerge. Imagine a businessman is in the middle of a deal. The opposing partner intentionally provokes him. If the businessman gets angry and breaks the deal, the loss will be his. But if he shows self-control, talks calmly, and has patience, the deal might close on even better terms. This is the difference between uncontrolled and controlled emotions. Self-control applies not only to emotions but also to habits. If you waste time on entertainment every day, your career will lag. If you repeatedly eat unhealthy food, your health will slowly deteriorate. If you spend money as soon as you see it, you will never build wealth. Hill says, self-control develops by habit. That is, the more you practice control in small decisions, the stronger your discipline will become. Suppose a student has a gaming habit. If he does not control the desire to play every time, he will fail the exam. But if he says to himself every day, first study, then gaming, and disciplines himself, the same habit can make him a topper. Hill says that no leader can achieve long-term success without self-control. Because how can a person who cannot control themselves guide others? The first step of leadership is to become a master of oneself. But Napoleon Hill reveals another secret here. Simply controlling oneself is not enough. True success comes when you give more than you are paid for to others. Chapter 9. The habit of doing more than paid for. Napoleon Hill says that a big secret to success is to always put in more effort than the requirement and not limit your work to just the essentials. This habit sets you apart from others and increases your value. Whatever responsibility we have, be it a job, business, or personal work, Hill says that if you only give minimal effort, you will always remain average. But if you put in extra effort, find innovative solutions, and take the initiative, people will notice your hard work and dedication. Suppose there is an employee who has to submit a daily report. If they just prepare and submit the report, the job is done. But if that same employee also analyzes the data, gives suggestions, detects errors, and recommends solutions, the boss will automatically recognize their value. This employee is the one who gets promotions and opportunities later on. Hill says that developing the habit of extra effort means always thinking, what more can I do? This attitude accelerates your growth. Suppose a shopkeeper in a small shop only sells goods to their regular customers. But if they give the customer a little extra advice, provide delivery, and offer personalized service, the customer becomes loyal on their own. Similarly, in business, extra service and effort always bring long-term growth. Hill also says that this habit should become part of the mindset. That is, working extra only occasionally is not enough. Make it a part of your daily routine and work ethics. But note that extra effort will only make an impact when people admire you not just for your work, but also for your personality and attitude. Chapter 10. A Pleasing Personality. Napoleon Hill says that success does not come from knowledge or skills alone, your personality also attracts people. A good personality is one that makes others feel comfortable and valued. Hill calls this a pleasing personality. A pleasing personality does not just mean smiling or being polite. It is the total package of your attitude, behavior, and approach. When you show genuine interest in people, understand their emotions and needs, people naturally connect with you. Hill explains that personality has an impact on every area of your life, career, business, relationships, and social circle. No matter how many skills you have, if people cannot connect with you, your growth will be limited. Imagine a customer going to a shop. There are two shopkeepers. One is rude and impatient. The other is friendly, answers the customer's questions patiently with a smile. Which shopkeeper do you think will attract repeat business? Exactly right. The one who has a positive attitude and a pleasing personality. If they remember every customer, call them by name, have genuine conversations with them, and offer extra help, people will return to them on their own. This is Hill's philosophy. A pleasing personality boosts both your business and reputation. Hill says that a pleasing personality is crucial not only in social life but also in leadership and influence. Leaders whose personalities are approachable and inspiring can motivate their team effortlessly. But remember, just having a good personality is not enough. Hill says that your thinking, mindset, and clarity of thought are also just as important. Because if your thought is confused or wrong, personality alone cannot bring you long-term success. The next chapter will explain this. Chapter 11. Accurate Thinking. Napoleon Hill says that the biggest skill for success is accurate thinking. This means not blindly trusting everything but making decisions based on facts and proof. Accurate thinking is the ability that helps you differentiate between right and wrong, useful and useless, fact and opinion. Information keeps coming to us all the time: news, social media, colleagues, friends, and market rumors. If we believe anything without verification, we can make wrong decisions. Hill says that decisions based on rumors, emotions, or bias always result in loss. Accurate thinking helps you make logical, rational, and fact-based decisions. It saves your mind from confusion and doubt and makes you confident. Suppose a businessman sees a new opportunity in the market. If he only relies on a friend's advice or a market rumor, he can lose both money and time. But if he does proper research, collects facts and data, analyzes competitors, and understands the risk-reward balance, the chances of his decision's success increase greatly. Hill says there are two main steps to accurate thinking. Separating facts, what is true and can be verified. Separating opinions, thoughts of others, rumors, or assumptions. Accurate thinking is not just limited to business or career. It also helps in your personal decisions, investments, relationships, and health decisions. For example, in an investment decision, blindly putting money on a friend's suggestion is a risk. But investing after research and analysis is safe and fruitful. A student is preparing for the IAS exam. If they only rely on social media tips and WhatsApp group advice, time will be wasted. But if they analyze the syllabus and past papers and then build a strategy, the chances of success increase. Hill says that developing accurate thinking comes from practice. Learn to adopt a fact-based approach even in small daily decisions. This will gradually make your mind logical and analytical. But accurate thinking is only possible when your concentration and focus are strong. Because without focus, you won't be able to distinguish between facts and opinions, and your decisions will be affected. The next chapter will explain this. Chapter 12, Concentration. Napoleon Hill says that concentration, focus, is the foundation of success. If you don't apply your energy and attention to one place, you won't reach your goals. Hill clearly states that success comes only to those who put their entire energy in one direction. In our modern life, there are many distractions: social media, notifications, multitasking, requests from friends and colleagues. When we try to do many tasks at once, our energy is split. Hill says that multitasking reduces efficiency and results in average outcomes. Achieving any goal is difficult without focus and concentration. It clarifies your thinking and keeps your actions in an aligned direction. Imagine a scientist working on a new invention. If they constantly check their phone during research, attend meetings, and handle other projects, the invention will never become perfect. But if that same scientist puts their entire mind and energy only into the research, a breakthrough is possible. This is Hill's point. Extraordinary results come only from concentration. Hill says that concentration does not just mean hard work. Rather, it is intelligent focus. That is, giving complete attention to doing the right work in the right way. But Hill says that success is not complete with personal focus alone. The power of cooperation and the mastermind is also necessary to achieve any big goal. The next chapter will talk about this. Chapter 13, Cooperation. Napoleon Hill says that cooperation, working together with others, is an essential aspect of success. No human being can achieve their goals completely alone. Whether it is business, career, or personal growth, success remains incomplete without the support and collaboration of others. Hill explains that every person's capabilities are limited. But when people combine their skills, knowledge, and efforts, they create a powerful force. This is why successful projects, businesses, and teams are always based on collaboration and cooperation. Cooperation is not just teamwork. It is a combination of mutual respect, understanding, and support. When people value each other's ideas and strengths, the results are extraordinary. Imagine a cricket team. If one player is very good, but the rest of the players do not coordinate with him, the team cannot win. But if all the players follow the strategy according to their strengths and support each other, the team achieves victory. This is Hill's point. Cooperation multiplies individual efforts. Suppose 3 friends are working at a startup. One handles marketing, the second develops the product, and the third manages finance. If these 3 remain focused only on their field and do not help each other, the startup will fail. But if they share ideas, hold regular meetings, and utilize each other's strengths, the startup will grow quickly. Hill also says that cooperation helps to turn not just success but also failure into a positive. When you collaborate with others, mistakes and failures also become learning opportunities. But the next step in Hill's philosophy is this: when you cooperate effectively, every failure and challenge will become a lesson for you that will make you stronger and more intelligent. In the next chapter, we will learn about this secret. Chapter 14, Profiting by Failure. Napoleon Hill says that failure is not a defeat but a stepping stone to success. In fact, a hidden lesson is concealed in every failure. This lesson is what makes you smarter, stronger, and better later on. Hill calls it, every adversity, every failure, every heartache carries with it the seed of an equal or greater benefit. Many people fear failure and stop trying. But Hill says that this attitude is what makes a person mediocre. If you look at failures with the right perspective, every setback teaches you something new. The most classic example is Thomas Edison. He failed thousands of times in his attempts to create the electric bulb. Every unsuccessful experiment only taught him which method does not work. Ultimately, that same knowledge and persistence led him to success. Hill says that the secret to Edison's success was that he never viewed failure negatively but made it an opportunity for learning and improvement. Hill says that the true benefit of failure is realized only when you have tolerance and patience. Without tolerance, every setback generates frustration and negativity. But when you understand failure calmly, disciplined, and patiently, it becomes your greatest teacher. But in Hill's philosophy, tolerance is not alone. It must be combined with persistent action and a definite aim. Only then will failure become a stepping stone for you and lead to ultimate success. We will discuss this in the next chapter. Chapter 15, Tolerance. Napoleon Hill says that tolerance, accepting others' opinions, ideas, and beliefs, is necessary for success. A narrow-minded or stubborn person can never see new opportunities and lags behind in growth. Hill says, a tolerant mind is an open mind, and an open mind attracts opportunities. Different people and opinions come into our lives every day, be it business, career, or personal relationships. Rejecting the ideas of others hinders growth. Tolerance does not mean that you accept everything, but that you understand that everyone has some value. Hill says that a tolerant person remains calm even in problems and conflicts. They do not make decisions based on ego or personal bias. This attitude makes them smart and flexible. Imagine a businessman who is stuck on his product strategy. He relies only on his own thinking and does not listen to the advice of employees or market experts. As a result, new ideas will be missed, and the business will remain stagnant. But if that same businessman remains tolerant, listens to suggestions, and understands market trends, he will be able to implement better strategies, and growth will be possible. Hill says that tolerance is essential not only for individual growth but also for relationships and teamwork. When you are tolerant, people respect your advice and leadership. Hill further explains that when you learn to accept others and develop a tolerant mindset, only then can you apply the golden rule. This golden rule completes your personal and professional success. Chapter 16, The Golden Rule. Napoleon Hill says that the golden rule is the most powerful law, and it is the ultimate secret that forms the ultimate key to both success and happiness. Hill's philosophy is very simple: treat others as you would want to be treated yourself. Hill explains that long-term success in life does not come only from skills, knowledge, and effort. A person's relationships, trust, and respect are also equally important. When you show fairness, honesty, and respect to others, people naturally treat you the same way. This law works in both interpersonal relationships and professional success. The golden rule is not limited to business or career. It is equally important in personal life. If you want people to be supportive, loyal, and trustworthy with you, you must also exhibit those same qualities to others. Hill says that the principle of reciprocity works in every area of life, be it the work environment, social circle, or family. Suppose you want your colleagues to always help you and respect you. If you yourself behave rudely, selfishly, and dishonestly with them, they will also not trust and support you. But if you are helpful, honest, and polite yourself, people will automatically cooperate with you. Hill calls this, treat others as you want to be treated. Hill says that the golden rule is not just ethics or morality, it is also a practical law of success. It simultaneously boosts your personal growth, professional success, and happiness. Hill's 16 principles together create a complete framework of success. But remember, reading these principles is not enough. Applying them consistently is what will lead you to true success and happiness. So friends, this was the complete journey of the law of success. Hill's 16 laws are not just theories but practical tools that can change your thinking, habits, and personality and lead you to real success. Remember, knowledge only becomes power when you turn it into action. If you like this summary and want to learn more such practical lessons, I recommend you definitely listen to the audiobook summary of The Art of Risk. In it, you will find strategies for taking risks, making calculated decisions, and overcoming fear that can prove to be a game changer in your personal and professional growth. So, click on this video now, listen, and take your success journey to the next level. And yes, I'll meet you there.